Wednesday, September the 27th till Friday, September 29th, 2023. It's been a tough week. I'm behind on this, and there won't be a video element to this either on the YouTube page. So, I listened to the first episode of Cautionary Tales, itself unintentionally being preceded by the BBC show More or Less, Behind the Stats. So, 2 consecutive shows hosted by Tim Harford. Tim loves numbers, statistics and weird facts, so you know what to expect. In this episode of Cautionary Tales, he spoke about how the ship Tory Canyon crashed into a reef known as the Seven Stones because of following a set plan. That's not very grammatically good there, Martin. Yeah, they crashed into that because he'd already got a set plan, essentially, and he wouldn't, fall from that plan. It tells how all of us can have a plan set in place, and despite anything that may get in the way, there is no way that any of us will divert from that plan. These things happen. But, like it's called, it's a cautionary tale. Beauty Unlocked from September the 20th saw Carissa looking into some unbelievable things that women did in Victorian-era England, who were obviously the upper classes. Yeah, obviously. Bathing in arsenic to get paler skin? Clean your teeth with cocaine tooth powder and horsehair toothbrushes. As Carissa would, and does say frequently in this episode, oh my. Deleted saves saw Phil looking at the PlayStation 4 game Alien Isolation, a game that fits into an otherwise untouched area of the franchise, where Ellen Ripley's daughter goes looking to find out what happened on the Nostromo from the original Ridley Scott-directed 1979 film. The daughter is mentioned, actually, in the Alien series of films by the character Helen, so there you go. I've just put an H in there, and it's an Ellen without an H. In the 19th of September 2023 episode of Holidays After Dark, Kristin looked at the history of zombie culture to find out why it's so popular. Maybe because most people nowadays and young people are a bit like zombies, really, but, that's just an aside from me. That's old man Marv moaning there. She also quoted from the great Rob Zombie song Living Dead Girl, that gets a lot of play on my iTunes, Apple Music account, I'll tell you. I listened to 3 episodes of Records and Bands in readiness for recording an episode of Pods Like Us with its presenter Rob Jones, an actual Brit in the same time zone as me. That doesn't happen very often. This first episode of Records and Bands is described by Rob and his brother Sam as a test of the equipment and to see what they can do. They're very opinionated and both dislike the Beatles, the Rolling Stones and Queen. Wait until I guest on their show to upset the apple cart and put some balance in there. The Swerve podcast from September 20th, 2023 saw Izzo and Magnum talking about skinwalkers. From what I can gather, a skinwalker is someone who has a second skin, werewolves, etc. I think. I'm not completely sure. Dangerous Amusement saw Stu trying hard to push through the tears of laughter with guest Gunnar Ratcliffe in order to find out his 6 choices of Elvis Costello songs from each era to add to the playlist. Stu World Order from the 22nd of September saw Stu chatting with Neil from the podcast We Needed Roads about the Keanu Reeves starring film Constantine, a film that is being set up for a sequel apparently. After a long time away for a nice break, Bill Reads Bad Reviews saw Bill just talking with no script, no film reviews, talking about what he's been doing during his time off. So No bad reviews then? I'm only joking. It's great that he's back to podcasting, and with an announcement in there, it looks like the future is bright. I'm not carrying that on with the advertisement for that mobile phone / cellular phone company. Everything Everywhere Daily from August 6th, 2020 saw Gary Arndt giving us the lowdown on the original Dow Jones companies, its intent, and who is still around from those companies. Most of them, actually. The March 19th, 2012 episode of Naked Scientist show Question of the Week let us know about some cancers that can be caught. The audio comedy drama Barmydale is a show that I believe has been on BBC Radio at some point, or is on BBC Radio. I'm not completely sure about that. It's still going. It was funny, with some superb talent voicing the characters. I've listened to the whole of season 1 so far, which I did in one go. This first season is available on YouTube, I think, with the later seasons on other platforms. Fans on the Run from September 23rd, 2023 saw Ethan being joined by guest co-host Piers Hemmingson to chat with the great Hunter Davies, who in around 1967-68 released the only Beatles biography to be authorised by all 4 of the Beatles themselves. Quite a coup there, Ethan. Well done. Aaron Mankey's Cabinet of Curiosities from April 16th, 2019 included stories that really were the bomb, so to speak. The story about the bomb accidentally dropped on American soil when it was supposed to be on its way for storage at a US facility in England was quite something. In another episode of Everything Everywhere Daily, Gary Arndt told us how the missions to space for the US were because of someone not following the chain of command. That episode was from August 7th, 2020. Atlas Obscura from the 2nd of June 2021 looked at inanimate objects people believe would give them luck, particularly places that people go to in droves to kiss the Blarney Stone or other such things. Luck is good, but it ain't looking at me. Say that again, Marv. Luck is good, but it ain't looking at me. Sounds Profitable from September 20th, 2023 looked at how advertisers are being told to think about their work and its consequences. Just Films and That from September 12th, 2023 saw Josh and Alice look at the 2005 film The Fantastic Four, starring Chris Evans in his pre-Captain America days, alongside Jessica Alba, Ewan Griffith, Michael Chiklis, and Julian McMahon. It's not as bad as people make out to be. It's nowhere near a masterpiece for sure, but it's probably a 6.5 out of 10 for me. I listened to the opening episode of the Brendan Fraser podcast, which was technically an introduction to Carla and Daniel and a way to explain what they're doing. Going through the work of Brendan Fraser, of course. An old episode of Talk More Talk saw the team chatting with record producer Fernando Perdomo about the tribute album Ramon. I'm carrying on listening to the political drama The Rise of King Asilas. It sounds a bit like a cross between Donald Trump, Elon Musk and Genghis Khan. Episode 161 of Electronically Yours saw Martin chatting with Pascal Gabriel about his work as part of S-Express and Bomb the Bass, as well as other projects including working with Dido, Kylie Minogue, Goldfrapp and others. Paul or Nothing from September 25th, 2019 was a long episode played at 1.5 times speed. Most long shows are listened to at that speed and occasionally double speed. Sorry, the light went off. This was intended to be a chat between Sam and his guest Ken Michaels, a legend of a broadcaster in the Beatles broadcasting circles. It was supposed to be a chat about Paul McCartney's album Pipes of Peace, but ended up being a long general chat instead. Records and Bands from May 4th, 2023 saw Rob chatting with Brian from the shows My Weekly Mixtape and Playlist Wars. I remember making mixtapes for Louise back in the day, and have been known to make mix discs now for her as well. I enjoy compiling a playlist for whenever we go out, even now. Other shows we'll listen to, but now still writing on the Friday, late, I know. I can't remember too much to talk about. I'm sorry, my brain was never that good. On Tuesday, myself and Ed Chen were asked by Kit O'Toole to take part in a presentation to a class she was teaching, with the subject of the British music invasion in the US of 1963. That presentation lasted from 12:45 a.m. until a bit after 2:30 in the morning. Earlier on that Tuesday night, or Tuesday evening, I had a great chat with Rob Jones about the podcast Records and Bands, a show that I've already mentioned in this exact episode. Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. Take care.